So let's actually talk about sewing plans for the month of May. As I'm recording this, it is May 15th. So I have an upcoming trip actually next week, and I have been dreaming up some amazing pieces to add to my wardrobe because you need new pieces when you go to new places, and I cannot wait to sew them up. I have very little time, I think a couple of days, but I want to get the bulk of my cutting and sewing started in the next 2 days. So with that in mind, the best thing I think I could do is just bring out all the fabrics that I've been really craving to work with, lay them out, look at the patterns that I've been excited about as well, and then try and do a pairing system. So you'll see me kind of work through that. I'll be measuring my measuring tape to see if I have enough fabric for the things, and then we're gonna move forward from there. I think I'm going to do mainly dresses. I love one item outfits, especially if you're traveling. I think that's a really convenient and easy way to go. I would love it if I can add like a pair of pants, but if not, I think the tan pants that I made last year would suffice, and then I would just figure out a top for that, whether it's ready to wear or me made. So we'll see. I have a lot of ideas going on in my mind, little time to actually get it done, so I'll do the best that I can. Let's dive in. So I've just gone ahead, I've put a bunch of fabrics that I've been really excited to work with right on the table and laid out the patterns that I'm considering. There were a lot of really good ones. So let's just start with just going through. So I have this rayon challis that I picked up at G Street Fabric, and I just think it has the most beautiful drape and all the vibrant colors. It screams vacation for me, or just summer. I really like it. And a couple of dresses that I could see being made up in this include, okay, I think these two. I think I'm between these two. So the Simplicity 8875, which I recently got, and B6807. So these are two that, can you see it in this dress? And I have made a dress similar to this, like a new look pattern that has similar style lines to this. And I think the reason why I don't wear that dress as often, it's like a black satiny slinky material. And I think that material just makes it seem too formal and also too fitted for my preference. And I think with the rayon challis, it has enough body where it would really like flow and drape and do all the beautiful things, but work really well. So I'm really leaning towards this, and if this makes me cut out the pattern, then I can make more dresses like this in the future. So this is a high contender, I think, for this fabric. Then I feel like for vacation, you have to have a really beautiful white dress, and I'm not going to have the kids with me, so I think I can wear white without having the fear of it just being completely ruined. I mean, I make a good deal of mess myself, but I think I can manage it on this trip, so it'll give me an excuse. I've been thrifting just the most lovely, what is it called? Embroidery anglaise fabrics. So I have these. They are a set of 2 table runners. And I just want you to see how lovely that is on the cotton. So awesome. And they're not super long, right? But I think there is enough here where I could sort of use this in addition to another fabric. The other fabric that I'm thinking is this. I think it's a window pane. I looked up and found this at the thrift store as well. So what I want to show you is how gorgeous the bottom embroidered anglaise is. See how great that is? So because it has that scalloped edge at the bottom, I'm thinking that it would be really nice as a ruffle at the bottom of maybe a tiered skirt, to have this up top, and then to incorporate this embroidery on glaze with it in some way. Not quite sure just yet. So I have been tinkering with that. I have to think about it a little bit more and really figure out what I want to do. Should I just self-draft something and make it easier on myself? I feel like self-drafting is something I've strayed away from, but I do still have my bodice blocks. It might be easier for me to do something like that without having to figure out and cut out a new pattern because I'm so limited on time. But if I did not self-draft something, here are the patterns that I have in mind for the embroidery on glaze. I guess just this one. So the reason why I'm picking out this Simplicity S8888 is because it has this awesome paneling detail right here in the dress. So I think with that, you can see it in the line drawings too, I could use the embroidery on glaze on the side panels along the sides of the bust and also in the back, so it looks like it's on purpose. And then for the skirt of the dress, I can then make sure that the scallops at the bottom with the beautiful embroidery on glaze are at the bottom. I think that while this is a decent width panel, it is just one panel, and that's a lot that I'm trying to do. So I might need to like lessen the amount of gathering that's happening in the side portions. But I think that could look really neat. So either I would self-draft something or I could use this. And I think this seems easy enough as far as style lines go to cut out. So maybe I won't completely hate it, the cutting process. So this is a contender. I would add sleeves. If I have enough of the curtain panel, then I would make the sleeves out of this. Otherwise, I have another white that I think could work with this really well. So we've talked about two dresses. Let's see. I've picked up these cotton fabrics from Joann's, and they are just in the most beautifully textured cotton material. 100% cotton, and I feel like that's breathable. It's gonna be awesome. I have this one, which is a nice really pale pink, but those beautiful pops of yellow. And I think again, against my skin, I think this would look really lovely. And then this more bold and pungent pinky pink with those orange and marigolds and yellows in there. I think these are all just so lovely. So I saw the blue and the pink first and thought, oh, I could do some color blocking or mix the prints a little bit, because I've been trying to push myself outside of my comfort zone and do some mixed prints. And then I saw this on a different visit to Joann's, and these are all in the clearance section. They're from their garden collection that they had, I'm assuming, last summer or last spring. And I've just been, anytime I find them, I just try and bring a little piece of that home because I think they're lovely. Honestly, I could see this as anything, and I would probably go for something that I have already cut out just for the ease of it. And I'm trying to think pattern-wise. No, actually, if I were to cut something new for this, I think these would look lovely as this dress. They say cotton blends are really good for this. It recommends eyelet, linen, crepe, or cotton blends. And I think this, look at the style lines, look really nice and flowy in these fabrics. But that's another thing to cut, and I don't know if I'm gonna have time. But I have also cut out this Simplicity pattern with the raglan sleeves that I recently did in the red collection. So that I already have cut out. Could work, that could be a possibility. We'll put that to the side. I don't know that I need these fabrics. I think let's move on and let's see. Next up are the mood fabrics that I just showed you. So of the two mood fabrics, I would love to sew something up in one of these. So this one I think screams summer, and it's so bold and has really beautiful colors in it. I have only 2.5 yards of this, and Now that I think about it, I would have really loved to have gotten maybe one additional yard so I can really make something spectacular. So I don't know if I'm ready to cut into this and then feel like, oh, I should have just waited and gotten more. However, in the Isle de Archides fabric, I do have collectively 3.5 yards. So I have 2.5 yards of the cotton voile and then 1 yard of the cotton lawn. And I think together this could make a really beautiful dress. It's not as bright in color as the other fabric, but I think it still works and it would still be lovely since it's so light and dreamy. This is one that I think, what would I want to do with this? What would I want to do with this? I have a couple of ideas. I think I want to go with something that I've already cut out again, just for ease. And I do have the simplicity pattern that I just showed you. And I think I could do the bodice of this out of the cotton lawn and then probably just hack the skirt and do a half circle skirt with a tier at the bottom if I have enough fabric. Possibly. That's an idea. But I think that would be really flowy and dreamy. So let's put that to the side and see if we have enough fabric for that, because I would love it. Oh my gosh. So I have these two poly silky type fabrics that I got from G Street Fabric. This was in their actual like collection on the floor, and this was in the clearance section, but they just scream happy springtime, summer. The colors are so fun. But as far as vacation wear, I think this green just screams vacation wear. Look at this. It's these amazing, almost polka dot like, but it's more like pebbles or speckles on it. So it's this awesome like sherbety green, lime green color. Oh my, like look at how it drapes. Can I just stitch this line here and have this cowl neck? Look at this. Oh my God. It's so beautiful. I wish I could just stitch this in place. I'm looking at myself in the mirror. I love it. Anyway, I think this could make a really beautiful, beautiful dress. And I think maybe I'm overthinking some of these. Like it could be really simply done and be tasteful and elegant and fabulous. And maybe I'm overthinking it. So like as I'm looking at this on me right now, I'm like, that looks fantastic. Like cowl neck, you know? And then I've never done a cowl neck before. I've never draped on the mannequin or, you know, done this. And something that's like fitted at the waist a little, like a fit and flare. That's like my go-to style, honestly. And wow, like this looks stunning. I love it. And gathered, tiered, ruched. Oh, I look like a goddess. Oh my gosh, I love it. Anyways, I definitely want to use this. Ooh, could you see me coming through in this? I love it. But I don't want to cut another raglan sleeve something if I already have the other simplicity pattern raglan sleeve. So I'm probably just going to figure out a way to fiddle and finagle that. We shall see, guys. This is going to be made up into something beautiful. I know that for a fact. I just don't know what exactly. So we have to figure that out. Otherwise, the last fabric that I'm considering would be, oh, actually, I think for this green fabric initially, I was thinking this Butterick 6705. It's a pattern that I've fallen in love with as well. It does have similar style lines to the simplicity pattern, but I guess only in that they have the umpire like high waist line and the little V under there. But otherwise, this one is a V-neck and this one is raglan sleeves, set-in sleeves. Like there are differences. But this is hard, and this is always the hardest part of the process of sewing, is just getting to make a decision, do it, so I can cut them out. I don't have a ton of this fabric because it was in the clearance section and I just got all that was left. I have my tape measure here. So if we measure this out, I have 1, 2, it's like 2 1/3 of a yard of this fabric. So it's not a ton of fabric. I really don't want to start getting into like fiddling with facing and trying to do a wrap style dress, because then I'll lose fabric in the crossover of the 2 panels. So I do have to get a little bit more creative with how I'm going to use this to get the most bang out of the fabric here, because there's just not enough of it. But those are my plans, half fleshed out as usual, and hopefully when you see the next video, you'll be really excited to see what I got these all made up into. So the honorable mentions here that I have are these knits, and I just love this color blue on me, and it's just the best like rib knit fabric I've ever felt, ever. Super stretchy. And I got this from G Street Fabric as well in their clearance section, and it's just fabulous. It feels amazing on. It's thick but not heavy and hot, and it's just a dream, and it's so soft, and it's the perfect blue shade. And I wanted to make something out of this that just wouldn't be clingy. Like, I don't want something that's a bodycon dress or anything like that. So I find it hard to work with knits in that way without making it too like clingy. I have a decent amount of this fabric, so again, if the overlocker can come out and do something quickly, but this is like a last item project. If there's time, how would there be time? Look at all the stuff that I have to make. Whew. All right, I definitely think I should just cut out these 2 patterns. I think that's the route that I'm going in, so I'm gonna go and do that quickly, and then pull out this, I think, and then figure some stuff out. Bye guys, I have sewing to do. Please like, subscribe, comment down below. Did you like any of these plans? Would you do things differently? There are so many patterns and amazing fabrics out there, and sometimes matching them together is the hardest part of the sewing adventure to begin with. But once you have the idea down, it's smooth sailing from there. So wish me the best of luck. I hope to see you in the next video. Stay creative. Bye. Next time you see this, hopefully I'll be cutting. So I got the cutting mat out, and I am cutting Simplicity 8875. So the biggest issue I'm having are the finished garment measurements for the skirt piece. So I cut out at the bodice a size 12. So I had to grade out from a size 12 from the bust, which finished garment measurements are about 37, and I'm a 36 bust. So I am grading out. At my hip, I'm at 44. So their pattern piece, like this set of patterns, doesn't extend out to that size. So this is a very dramatic sort of fan out, and I'm just hoping that I haven't dramatically altered the shape of the dress in a way that is not going to be as flattering, or as far as like fit goes, that I haven't like ruined it. So yeah, I'm hoping for the best, but I did have to do something similar to a different pattern. It's often this way when it's fit and flare, sort of like this. It really does need to have a more dramatic curve for me from the high bust, or no, from right below the bust line, past the waist line, which is there, and then into the hip. So I'm hopeful that this would work. I would have loved to have kept the line closer to the waistline just to catch that and then grade out, but then I felt like that would be too steep of a curve. So this was the best solution I came up with. I also extended it out on the bottom piece of the skirt as well. Another thing that I'm choosing to omit, I'm not going to cut out the front and the front and back ruffle from the pattern, because I'm going to extend mine to maxi length, and I have to make it longer to account for me lengthening the bottom of the skirt as well. So I just went ahead and recognized that the sort of side seam was a 12 and the center seam was a 16 on the front pieces. So there's a 4-inch difference. So I will sort of double the length of this, and then make sure that I add those 4 additional inches to meet up with the curve in the front right there. I hope that makes sense, but I'll show you once you see the final fit. Yeah, but I think I have everything cut out. I also have the other pattern cut out that I was working on, Simplicity 8888. So let's start cutting some fabric. So here's something that I'm noticing between the 2 eyelet fabrics, and I've known this for a while, but I was trying to kind of, forget it. But now it's so obvious in the light. It seems like this is more ivory than this. Like, it seems a bit more off-white than the larger panel. Now, I just don't know how much that's gonna bother me made up, or if I could suck it up and just push through. And I'm really hopeful that it doesn't irritate me too much, but I know that they're different whites, and we're gonna move forward. The first cut is the deepest, so we're just gonna